Professor Peter Collingham says that masks are a good idea, but only if you can't do the basics such as physical distancing. And so if you're sitting in a park with 3 people who you live with, or if you're fishing by yourself, there's really no value in them. And if we have to fight coronavirus for a long time, we really need to have rules put down that make biological sense. So with that said, would you consider removing mandatory mask wearing and make it just an advice level?
Not at this stage. Not at this stage, because that's not the public health advice. Again, I've made my point very clear on this. I think that it is very low cost and potentially very high benefit, and I think Victorians are doing an amazing job wearing masks. No one enjoys it. It's not necessarily something that you would choose to do, but it is a significant benefit, and that's the advice I've got. And you know, people are free to provide both their scientific insight and their behavioural insights and their opinions and their views, and I welcome that. That's a healthy thing. But as commentators, as opposed to people who are actually making the decisions, I'm making it really clear to you that masks are here for a period of time. I can't tell you how long, but they'll be here for as long as the public health team put it to me that they have a significant benefit.
It just seems strange that they were originally introduced as our stage 4 of fighting the virus, and now we're getting to 5 to 10 cases a day, and everyone in Victoria has to wear them, even if they live by themselves, or they'll get. So
what's the significant burden or hardship with that?
It's about, I suppose,
compared to the virus getting back to unsustainable levels.
I suppose it's just about having rules in place that make sense.
Well, no, I don't agree with that at all. It's about having rules in place that have a very low cost and potentially a very high benefit. I just ask every single Victorian today, and for so long as we have masks in place, it's not a comparison about it's not a question of whether you'd like to wear the mask, if I can say. It's a question between the imposition and the burden of wearing the mask versus the imposition and the burden of restrictions having to come back on because the virus gets away from us. That's the real question, and I don't even think it's a question, honestly. It is such low cost for such potential significantly high benefit that it doesn't make any difference. I'm not sure whether the taxi driver in Sydney was wearing a mask. I'm not sure whether all 15 or 20 of his passengers were wearing a mask. I just make a judgment. I would think, logic tells me, that might have been an easier process to deal with if they all had been. Again, no one's necessarily enjoying it, but it is a significant thing. It's working. It is playing a part to some extent, and there's very significant international evidence, whether it be in Germany, in South Korea, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong as well, I think, very significant evidence to suggest that masks play a substantial role.
How's the state's stockpile of masks going, and are you handing them out?
Yeah, we've ordered a very large quantity, and they've been distributed. I can come back to you. I'll get an update if you like on exactly how many of those reusable masks have been given out to people, and I'm very confident we have sufficient stockpiles in terms of those single-use masks of all their different sorts, because there are different kinds. But I'm more than happy to. I'll make that a feature of one of our briefings later in the week if that's of interest to you.
I think you announced 1 million, maybe, or 2
million. I did. I had a series of shields,
masks?
masks, gloves. No, more than that. Closer to 2 in terms of the reusables.
Are they out there in the community?
I believe many of them are, but I'll get you an update. Well, why don't I make a feature, if I can, I'll make it a feature of tomorrow. I'll have a bit of a chat to you all about PPE, stockpiles and the distribution of those reusables, the vast majority of which were in fact Victorian made.